In this video, I'll be presenting some of my favourite passages and highlights from Ryan Holiday's trilogy on Stoicism. Follow the process. We are A to Z thinkers, fretting about the next step A, obsessing over the end result Z, yet forgetting all about B through Y. Often we fall in love with an image of what success looks like. The process is not to worry about what might happen later, or the results, or the whole picture. It's about doing the right thing right now. Though we think big, we must act and live small in order to accomplish what we seek. What's important to you? Euthymia, translates to tranquility, is the sense of our own path and how to stay on it without getting distracted by all the others that intersect it. The effort is enough. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of the self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to do your best, to become the best that you are capable of becoming. Would you have a great empire? Rule over yourself. Doing the work is enough. Draw the line. It only ruins your life if it ruins your character. In other words, the only real failure is abandoning your principles. Choose virtue. A virtuous life is worthwhile for its own sake. Maintain your own scorecard. Don't care much what other people think. Care only whether you meet your own standards. Warren Buffett has said the same thing. Make a distinction between the inner scorecard and the external one. Your potential, the absolute best you're capable of. That's the metric to measure yourself against. The domain of the mind. Like the rock that the waves keep crashing over, it stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. Restrain yourself. Those who have subdued their ego understand that it doesn't degrade you when others treat you poorly, it degrades them. Use obstacles against themselves. In the face of violence, they would be peaceful. To hate, they would answer with love. And in the process, they would expose their oppressors' attributes as indefensible and evil. Finding the opportunity. Notice your long-time rival at work. Instead of being discouraged or upset by them, instead see the opportunity they present. They keep you alert, raise the stakes, motivate you to prove them wrong, harden you, help you to appreciate your true friends, and provide an instructive antilogue, an example of who you do not want to become. Also, when towards you people are rude or disrespectful, they underestimate you, giving you a huge advantage. When they're conniving, you don't have to apologize when you make an example out of them. When they're critical or question your abilities, their lower expectations are easier to exceed. And when they're lazy, it makes whatever you accomplish seem all the more admirable. Beware desire. An envious man pains himself as though he were an enemy. Don't be passionate. Passion is a poor substitute for discipline, mastery, strength, purpose, and perseverance. Purpose is about pursuing something outside yourself as opposed to pleasuring yourself. Something bigger than yourself. Picture yourself volunteering and helping a community. You won't have time to think of your own suffering because there are other people suffering and you're too focused on them. Become a student. The pretense of knowledge is our most dangerous vice. Studious self-assessment is the antidote. A student is self-critical, self-motivated, and also his own teacher and critic. Always stay a student. As our island of knowledge grows, so does the shore of our ignorance. It's not enough simply to want to learn. As people progress, they must also understand how they learn, and then set up processes to facilitate this continual education. Otherwise, we are dooming ourselves to a self-imposed ignorance. Limit your inputs. A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Knowing what not to think about, what to ignore and not to do, is your first and most important job. Build a routine, get your house in order, get your day scheduled, limit your interruptions, and limit the number of choices you need to make. Become present. The less energy we waste regretting the past or worrying about the future, the more energy we will have for what's in front of us. Jesus told his disciples not to worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will take care of itself. Empty the mind. Don't overanalyze. Do the work. Work, work, work. Is it 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours to mastery? The answer is that it doesn't matter. There is no end zone. To think of a number is to live in a conditional future. We're simply talking about a lot of hours. That to get where we want to go isn't about brilliance, but continual effort. It's all within reach for all of us, provided we have the constitution and humbleness to be patient and the fortitude to put in the work. Our ego just wants the ideas and the fact that we aspire to do something about them to be enough. So every time you sit down to work, remind yourself, I am delaying gratification by doing this. I am making an investment in myself instead of my ego. Talk, talk, talk. Talking is always easy. Success requires a full 100% of our effort, and talk flitters part of that effort away before we can use it. Chatter kills work. Get out of your own head. Adolescence is marked by a phenomenon known as the imaginary audience. Consider a 13-year-old so embarrassed that he misses a week of class, positive that the entire school is thinking and murmuring about some tiny incident that in truth hardly anyone noticed. Even as adults, we're susceptible to this fantasy during a harmless walk down the street. We plug in some headphones and all of a sudden there's a soundtrack. We flip up our jacket collar and consider briefly how cool we must look. We replay the successful meeting we're heading towards in our head. The crowds part as we pass. We're fearless warriors on our way to the top. It's the opening credits montage. It's a scene in a novel. It feels good, so much better than those feelings of doubt and fear and normalness. And so we stay stuck inside our heads instead of participating in the world around us. That's ego, baby. What successful people do is curb such flights of fantasy. They ignore the temptations that might make them feel important or skew their perspective. Find confidence, avoid ego. People aren't thinking about you. They have their own problems to worry about. Confidence is the freedom to set your own standards and unshackle yourself from the need to prove yourself. A confident person doesn't fear disagreement and doesn't see swapping an incorrect opinion for a correct one as an admission of inferiority. After all, aren't they now admitting that they're wiser than they once were? The danger of early pride. The first thing, Kernos, which gods bestow on one they would annihilate, is pride. Yet we pick up this mantle on purpose. Pride blunts the very instrument we need to own in order to succeed, our mind. Our ability to learn, to adapt, to be flexible, to build relationships, all of this is dulled by pride. Pride takes a minor accomplishment and makes it feel like a major one. Pride is a masterful encroacher. John D. Rockefeller, as a young man, practiced a nightly conversation with himself. Because you have got a start, he'd say aloud or write in his diary. You think you are quite a merchant. Look out, or you will lose your head. Go steady. The first product of self-knowledge is humility. The question to ask when you feel pride is this: what am I missing right now that a more humble person might see? The domain of the body. Life isn't just about work. To be really happy and really safe, one ought to have at least 2 or 3 hobbies. No money is on the line to motivate us, no rewards or validation but the experience. Like learning a new language is the humility of being bad at something because we are a beginner, and having the confidence to trust the process. Beware escapism. The only thing you can't escape in life is yourself. We carry with us more baggage than our suitcase and our backpacks. You were given one body when you were born. Don't try to be someone else, somewhere else. Get to know yourself. Build a life that you don't need to escape from. Meditate on your mortality. When a man knows he is to be hanged in a fortnight, it concentrates his mind wonderfully. It's a simple story, as old as time. Man nearly dies, he takes stock, and emerges from the experience a completely different and better person. On the final act, Seneca reminded himself that before we were born, we were still and at peace, and so we will be once again after we die. A light loses nothing by being extinguished. It just goes back to how it was before. Thank you for watching.